He was looking for pepper. What he found instead set the entire world on fire. For most of human history, outside the Americas, this kind of heat simply did not exist. No sriracha, no kimchi, no vindaloo. Then one explorer's mistake, a single misnamed plant, made half the planet fall in love with pain on the tongue. The question is how? Long before anyone in Europe ever dreamed of spice roots or pepper fortunes, people in the Americas were already quietly rewriting the future of food. Archaeologists have pieced together this story from seeds, yes, actual seeds, recovered from ancient cave floors and kitchen middens. In the Gila Naquitz cave in Oaxaca, Mexico, researchers found carbonized chili seeds dated to about 7,500 years before present. These aren't wild scatterings. The seeds show signs of deliberate selection. They are bigger, more uniform, and clustered with the remains of other domesticated crops. Someone, thousands of years ago, was already playing matchmaker with wild chilies, picking out the hottest, the plumpest, the most flavorful. Across Mexico and into the Andean highlands, the evidence multiplies. At Romero and Ocampo caves, layers of chili seeds span from about 9,000 to 5,600 years ago. In Peru, at Huaca Prieta and Paradones, scientists dug up well-preserved seeds and even chemical traces of capsaicin, the stuff that makes chilies burn, on ancient grinding stones. It's one thing to find a seed, but finding capsaicin residue on a pestle, that's like catching someone red-handed making the world's first hot sauce. The science gets even stranger. Starch grains and phytoliths, tiny plant particles, have been recovered from pottery shards and stone tools, confirming that chilies weren't just foraged. They were ground, mixed, cooked, and woven into daily life. Genetic studies back all this up. The DNA of ancient seeds matches modern cultivated varieties, proving a direct line from those first chili farmers to the peppers on your pizza. Ask an archaeobotanist, and they will tell you the chili's story isn't about a wild plant getting lucky. It's about people shaping nature, one fiery harvest at a time. Chili wasn't just a crop or a condiment for the first Americans. It was something closer to a force of nature, a living ember woven through every part of daily and spiritual life. In the bustling markets of Tenochtitlan, Bernardino de Sahagún wrote, "You could find heaps of fresh and dried chilies stacked alongside maize and beans. But that was only the start. Step into an Aztec temple and you would smell the sharp smoke of chilies burning in clay braziers, their fumes believed to sweep away evil and purify the sacred space." Sahagún's Florentine Codex describes priests wafting chili smoke over altars, a ritual as practical as it was mystical. Nothing like a good dose of capsaicin in the air to remind everyone of the god's power. But chili's reach went far beyond the temple. In Maya villages, mothers rubbed a paste of crushed chilies onto their children's feet, a prickly shield against lurking sickness and spirits. Andean farmers offered dried aji peppers to Pachamama, the Earth Mother, during fertility rites, trusting the fruit's fire to spark new growth and keep disease at bay. Some of these traditions sound harsh. Imagine being the toddler getting a chili rub-down. But to those communities, chili was a guardian, a medicine, a link to the divine. I love how the same fruit could be both feared and cherished. The Florentine Codex even records chili being used as punishment for misbehaving children. Smoke in the eyes was a sharp lesson. Yet, in that same culture, chili also flavored every meal and stood watch over every threshold. When you see the red pods strung above a door or smoldering on an altar, you are not just looking at food, you are looking at a symbol of power, protection, and the daily negotiation between the human and the sacred. That is the world Columbus stumbled into, utterly unprepared for what chili already meant. Christopher Columbus did not come looking for confusion, but that is exactly what he found. In 1492, his logbook records a moment that would echo through every kitchen in Europe, a tasting of the local ají on Hispaniola. The burn was immediate. Columbus, thinking like a spice-hungry Genoese, reached for the only word that fit the sensation: pepper. He wrote that they call it pepper because it burns like our pepper. Never mind that the plant looked nothing like the wrinkled black peppercorns prized in Venice. The heat was close enough for government work. The real mischief started with language. The translator on Columbus's voyage, tasked with making sense of new worlds, read aloud from the captain's letter to the Spanish crown a passage that described a fruit of great heat which the Indians used to flavor their broth. The word chosen was pimienta, the same term reserved for Old World black pepper. That single slip, born of a searing tongue and a lack of botanical textbooks, set the chili on a fast track to the heart of the spice trade. The Spanish court, desperate for anything to rival the Asian pepper monopoly, latched onto the idea. If it burned, it must be valuable. By 1493, dried pods and seeds, labeled as pimienta americana, were packed into crates and shipped to Seville. The Casa de Contratación manifest lists 30 kilograms of the stuff, enough to stock royal kitchens and apothecaries. Diego Alvarez Chanca, the expedition physician, sent his own medical report back to Spain, describing the fruit's sharp, hot flavor that causes the tongue to tingle and the eyes to water. He recommended it for indigestion and fevers, ensuring that chili would be noticed not just as a culinary oddity, but as a possible cure-all. The mislabel stuck. In the official records, in garden inventories, and in the minds of merchants, chilies became peppers, a trick of the tongue that would soon carry this American fruit far beyond its native soil. In 16th century Spain, chili seeds first found a home in monastery gardens, not royal kitchens. Monks in Seville and Salamanca, more botanist than recluse, kept careful records, including the names pimienta fresca and pimienta roja, and notes on the plant's heat. The Abbey of San Pedro de Alcántara listed chili among its herbs in 1523, treating it as medicine as much as spice. These gardens became quiet seed hubs, where advice such as keep warm, do not overwater passed from monk to monk. Meanwhile, the Casa de Contratación in Seville tracked every shipment leaving for the empire. Manifests in the Archivo de Indias from the mid-1500s list barrels marked Pepinos de Indias, weighing 250 kilograms per voyage. Some were seedlings wrapped in damp cloth and bound for Lisbon's gardens. Others, dried pods, sailed to West Africa and India. The chili, often mistaken for black pepper, spread not for its rarity, but for its resilience. Each shipment carried a little knowledge from a gardener's hand, fueling a quiet revolution across continents. A cook in Mughal India, hunched over a copper pot in the 1550s, sprinkles a new ingredient into a royal banquet dish: mirch, the fiery fruit that had only recently arrived from across the sea. The official banquet lists from Akbar's court suddenly feature this pepper in everything from pickles to masalas. In Sichuan, by the early 1600s, kitchen manuscripts describe the birth of mala, an electrifying pairing of chili and Sichuan pepper that rewrites what heat even means. Over in Korea, royal kitchen annals from the Joseon dynasty log the first batches of gochujang in the 17th century, blending chili with rice and beans to ferment a flavor that would come to define comfort food through endless winters. Hungarian farmers, meanwhile, are drying and grinding peppers into paprika by the 1800s, turning what was once a foreign curiosity into the backbone of goulash and a national industry. In southern Italy, the small, sharp peperoncino peppers, descendants of Spanish introductions, start showing up in pasta sauces and pizza toppings, their heat now inseparable from the idea of home cooking. None of these taste traditions are truly ancient. They are younger than Shakespeare, but they feel as old as the hills. It's wild to realize just how recently the world's favorite old flavors were invented, all because a single plant proved so adaptable and irresistible that it slipped into the heart of a dozen different cuisines. By the late 1500s, European grimoires called the chili the devil's fruit, a name born from its punishing burn. Spanish records from 1584 show dried chili strings hanging above doorways as talismans against misfortune. In southern China, feng shui texts praised red chilies for their power to attract luck and drive away trouble, a tradition still visible in markets from Naples to Mumbai, where chili garlands dangle as both warning and welcome. The real magic is molecular. Capsaicin, the chili's fiery compound, binds to the TRPV1 receptor in mammal nerves, the same one that senses boiling water. The brain sounds the alarm, sweat beads, eyes sting, heart races. Birds, lacking this receptor, eat chilies freely and scatter their seeds, a clever evolutionary twist. Today, the challenge is measured in Scoville heat units. The Carolina Reaper tops 2 million Scoville heat units, fueling eating contests and online bravado. From 16th century monks stringing chilies for protection to modern thrill seekers chasing the ultimate burn, the chili's fire remains a symbol, a shield, and a test of nerve. Somehow, a fruit once sacred to the Americas now burns in kitchens from Sichuan to Senegal. All because one explorer thought heat meant pepper. Today, over 3 billion humans crave that capsaicin rush, proof that a single mistake can rewrite comfort, identity, and even what we call food. Imagine what we'll misname next.